Evening. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Katie Limbs. I am the recruiting director here at Team Recruitment, Team Lacrosse Academy, Team Pride. I know some of you guys play with us in some of our different sectors. So thanks so much for joining us. We have sort of three parts of tonight's discussion that we're going to go through kind of around tournaments and recruiting as it pertains to those. And if you have any questions, I'm going to stop at the end of each section and kind of give you guys an opportunity to chime in with any questions that you might have. But before we get started, I know some of you know me, some of you don't, but just wanted to share kind of who I am and what my story is. I'm originally from Virginia. I grew up playing a bunch of different sports. Ended up having a horrible recruiting experience because I didn't know what I was doing. I was originally committed to Virginia Tech as a sophomore. And then about a week before my signing day, there was a coaching change and I ended up getting dropped, had to start the recruiting process all over. Ended up going to New York and playing at Long Island University, Brooklyn, which was a D1. They've since merged with their CW Post campus and are now the Sharks. So I was there for 2 years and then transferred to Mary Washington, which is a Division III school in Northern Virginia. After that, moved to San Diego, which is where I met Andrea, and we coached at UC San Diego. I have since moved back to the East Coast. I'm now located in Wilmington, North Carolina. I've coached at a number of different schools up and down the East Coast. And then now also work with Adrenaline Lacrosse, which is a big events company out west. So that's kind of my story. I've been through this process myself. I've been a college coach and, recruited girls. And then also Andrea and I owning our own club organization, we've helped a lot of girls through this process as well. So we've kind of attacked this from every which way that you can. So we have a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge to how to go about this process, and it's different for everyone. So I'll let Andrea kind of give you guys give her background story, and then we'll dive right in.
Hi guys, Andrea Hervé, and I am originally from upstate New York, where I played college at Rochester Institute of Technology. It was a D3 program. And after college, I moved slowly south. So I was in Baltimore for a couple years and Charlotte for a couple years before moving out west. So I had a chance to help coach at different high schools. I coached both private and public, and then landed at UC San Diego, where I coached college for 5 years out there. And like Katie said, once we met and we both aligned our passion of, not only spreading the sport, but giving an opportunity to girls who may not have a home or an opportunity to play at the club level, which is where originally Team Lacrosse Academy got started 6 years ago. And since then, we've really evolved and, just spread our passion into different sectors of the sport by helping girls get recruited to play in college, offering different camps, clinics, demo days, and, different PE programs where schools don't have lacrosse or weren't offering lacrosse. So we've really, given our life's passion to this sport and to our company, and we really love what we do. I'm excited tonight to share with you guys some tips and tricks for going into the summer circuit. So let's kind of dive in here, and then we'll, like Katie said, open it up for some questions after each little segment.
Sorry. Tonight we really wanted to explain sort of what needs to be going on in the background for you guys when it comes to tournaments and really maximizing those. So it used to be that you could hop on a club team, go to a tournament, get a ton of visibility, and get recruited. And while that's where we go to get recruited, there's actually a lot that goes into it on the front portion before we even go to the tournament to make sure that we can really maximize our time there. So pre-tournament planning. So before you even go to the tournament, sort of the things that you need to have set up and ready to go. You want to have your prioritization list. So you want to know what factors of schools are important to you, big, small, far from home, close to home, what kind of program, what kind of like, what you want to study, um, culture, all of that. So there's like a lot of logistics that go into creating your prioritization list that ultimately feeds into your target list. So the list of schools that you're interested in and reaching out to. I can't tell you how many times we get people's target lists and they have 5 schools on there. We want to start with 50 to 80 schools. There's a ton of programs out there now, all over the country. Division 1, Division 3, NAIA. There's just tons of opportunities. So we really encourage families to do their research and really put together a strong list of target schools. From there, we want to put together a good highlight video. And I know that seems kind of counterintuitive, putting together a highlight video before we go to tournaments. But I'll kind of explain why we want to have that together beforehand here in a second. And then we want to make sure that we have our online profile set up, that we have that highlight video, and that we have a good intro email drafted. And we've already sent that email out to coaches. So the reason why we want to have all of this information together and sent out before we even go to tournaments is so that we get on those coaches, those college coaches watch list. So being a former college coach, I can tell you that there are many, many hours that go into very tedious planning for watch lists for each and every tournament that they go to. So for every one game that you play, those college coaches are viewing 4 to 6 girls. So they're watching 4 to 6 games in the time that it takes for you to play one. So with that being said, when they show up to a tournament, they're just not wandering around aimlessly looking at fields trying to find girls. They already have come with a schedule and a plan of who they're watching and when they're watching. So if you aren't on that list, they're not watching you. So that's why it's super, super important to have, I call it the infrastructure of your recruiting, all set up and ready to go before we even get to the tournament time. It's just the only way that you're going to get the visibility that you're looking for and get the return on that investment of investing in the club and going to the tournaments. So that's kind of my spiel on pre-tournament planning. Does anyone have any questions? And you can throw those in the chat too if you guys don't want to speak up. Awesome. All right, so moving on. So the next part is what to be aware of while we're at the tournament. So we've done all of our infrastructure planning. We've sent out our intro email. We've gotten some good feedback from some coaches. Maybe we haven't heard anything from coaches, just depending on where we're at in the timeline. What are they looking for at tournaments? So obviously your skill, right? Duh. They're looking to see if you're going to be a good fit for what they're looking for. When you get to the college level, a lot of positions become very specific and pretty specialized. So they might be looking for a midfielder, but they're looking for a transition midfielder, or they're looking for a draw control unit, or they're looking for an offensive midfielder. They might be looking for something a little bit more specific than what you might realize beyond just the positions. So they're looking to see if skill-wise you're going to fit into the team and what their specific team needs are. The next thing that they're going to look at is your character. How are you acting when you don't have the ball? How are you communicating with your teammates? How are you talking to your coach? How are you handling situations of adversity? Maybe when your team's down or you don't get the call from the official that you're looking for. How are you handling yourself in all of these situations? That's a really big thing nowadays. Your talent alone isn't going to get you to those good programs. How you act and how you carry yourself is a big part of it too. What you're doing in those little moments between the whistles is also what they're looking for. So maybe you're not directly involved in a play, but what are you doing on the field to set not only yourself, but your teammates up for success? And you never know when they're watching. So you really want to be on your game. And that doesn't mean playing perfect. What I mean by that is, how do you respond when you do make a mistake? Because those mistakes are inevitable. So they are looking at how you respond to those types of situations. They're also watching, when they walk by teams that aren't playing, when they're just hanging out under the team tent, they're listening to your conversations. They're listening to how you talk to your parents. They're listening to how you talk to your friends, what your priorities are, how you interact with the people around you. Those are really big tells for college coaches on how you're going to fit into their team culture. So it's not just about going out and scoring a bunch of goals as an attacker. It's all the other moments in between. So we want to make sure that we're really representing not only ourselves and our families and our teams, but that we're marketing ourselves in a way that we're proud of, and that we really want to put our best foot forward, because that's how we're going to get them to come back and watch us again at the next tournament. So coaches do multi-tiered evaluations. So they watch, you at this tournament, they want to watch you at this tournament, and then they want to see, your updated highlight film, and they want to see that progression of skill. As you're going through the season, as you're going through each year of school, in not only your athleticism and your lacrosse ability, but also your lacrosse IQ, your grades, your extracurriculars. They want to see that growth, that trajectory. They're not trying to recruit girls that are ready to step on the college field. They will help you get there once you get to their school and get to their program. But at the tournament, they're ultimately looking for your potential. And your potential is, like I said, in your skill and on-field ability, but it's also in who you are off the field as well. So that's the section on at a tournament, little things to look out for. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, moving on. So the third and final section that I kind of wanted to chat about, was, what to do after a tournament. So if you've ever been on a job interview, you know that it's common practice to thank the person that you interviewed with. We want to do the same thing here. We want to follow up with all the coaches, whether we saw that they were on the sideline or not, and thank them for their time. Anytime that you can reach out to a coach, articulate yourself well, show a certain level of professionalism, is what's going to help set you apart from everyone else on that recruiting board. It's going to help you develop that relationship with that coach, and ultimately is what's going to help get you recruited. We also, I do recommend that girls, especially that are in the later stages that need as much visibility with these coaches as possible, I recommend that if you can get film from a tournament and make like a mini reel of just that tournament to send with your follow-up, I highly recommend that as well. That's a really great way that if a coach, maybe she got behind in her schedule and she really wanted to see you, or if there was a conflict or a change of schedule and something didn't work out, she still has the opportunity to, essentially put eyes on you from that tournament, even if she didn't get the chance to watch you during the tournament. So that mini reel is a really great tool to use, again, to follow up with them. And then we also want to include, our future watch opportunities. So if, weekend one, your tournament one of the summer, we send that post, hey, thanks coach for coming to watch me play. Here's a little mini reel from the weekend. I really enjoyed it. Hope you had a great weekend. Here's the rest of the tournaments that I'm going to the rest of the summer. Let me know if you plan to attend any of them. Those three things are kind of what make that post-tournament email really special. It's another reason for them to watch you. It's another way that they get to see your name and interact with you. So I think it's something like I said, it's just going to really set you apart from a lot of other recruits. You thank them for their time to come watch you play and give you the opportunity. And you definitely want to send a follow-up if you did have the opportunity to chat at the field with one of those coaches as well. So that's kind of what we have for that section. I know we kind of burned through that pretty quickly, but if you guys have any questions, let us know. We did record this though, and we will send it to you guys. So if you want to go back and rewatch any part of it, you definitely can. We also, we work with a lot of girls on an individualized basis. So if you are looking for a little bit more help, or need any specific questions answered, we'd be happy to, hop on a complimentary call and kind of go through those with you guys as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Katie. That was, a good refresher too, especially, I've been through the process many, many years, but, it's good. I especially just kind of want to emphasize that part that you talked about where, coaches are looking at how you are acting at the tournament, not necessarily on the field, but those off-field moments. So, be aware that there's eyes on you everywhere, and not only at the tournament, but also keep in mind on your social media, and just make sure you're being professional through this phase. Well, it should be through your whole life, right? But we hope that you guys enjoyed this presentation. Like Katie said, it is recorded, and we will shoot that out to you here shortly. And feel free to follow up if you have any specific questions that you didn't feel comfortable asking, or something that might pop up later tonight.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.